guys, how you doing? It's Rabea. I hope you're all good. So I hope you enjoyed the little tune I made for the beginning of this video, because all the guitar tones you heard in that little tune were made using one plugin, and that's what we're going to be looking at today in this video. So we're going to be looking at the Joey Sturgis Tones ToneForge Misha Mansoor plugin. Of course, Misha needs no introduction. He's the guitarist and one of the writers in Periphery. He's one of the co-founders of Horizon Devices. He's done, obviously, this plugin. He's done the PV Invective amp. The guy is just all over the place. He's on fire and he's an absolute dude. So I was really excited to check out this plugin. It's worth saying that I'm not normally, I don't normally track using plugins. I never really use guitar-related plugin software. Only really use like reverbs and stuff. So this is kind of new territory for me, but I'm really excited to try it out. And I must admit, recording that tune, I was really impressed with the quality of the sound that I could get out of this plugin. And needless to say, it is packed full of features. So hopefully this video won't be really long, but I'm doing a screen share of my computer so I can show you exactly what I'm doing inside the plugin, and I've got a guitar to show you along the way as well. So essentially, a plugin like this works in any DAW, like Logic, Cubase, Pro Tools, anything like that. You can download this plugin, install it, and it will just open up. And the way that you go about using it is you just plug your guitar straight into your interface, whether that be, I don't know, whatever you've got, Focusrite, Scarlett, or whatever. I use the Universal Audio Apollo 8P, but I'm plugged into the Apollo Twin, which is, it's all connected. That gives me a clean DI signal. So let me just show you what the DI signal sounds like straight in. So this is just the DI. So as you can hear, it's really uninspiring, and to be fair, it's not a usable sort of sound. So the idea is that you can sort of turn plugins on any track and start manipulating the sound. But it's getting to the point now where plugins, even like this, are so good that it's just, you know, you couldn't even tell on record, honestly, some of the stuff like this. But anyway, there's loads to get through. So as I said, we've got a screen share, and I'll just jump right into it straight away. So this is the plugin. This is what it looks like. What I'll do before we get into tones is just go through sort of all the windows and everything so you can see what you can do within this plugin. It is worth saying that there is an advanced version, which is the one I'm running, which allows you to do things in the back end of the amplifier, lots of different things like transformers, and you can change biasing, and you can do a lot of the more amp engineer kind of stuff. So if I quickly just show you, if I jump around the back of the amp, you can see all this stuff that you can do. Your transformer, you can change your transformer, your power amp, all this stuff. You can tune your preamp even. So it's pretty mental. That comes with the advanced version, but what I'm going to show you is what you get in the standard version. So let me go back to the front panel. So this is the main interface. This is what you'll get when you open the plugin. And this thing in the middle is really cool. So this is called Infinity Gain. And what it essentially does is you can just keep turning this, and it gives you different gain stages. And there's a little Roman numeral down here as you go through. You can see it changes, goes up in order. But what it actually does is it changes up the sort of gain structure algorithm so that every single time it's a different feel, a different sound of gain. And that is really quite cool, because you can just keep going through until you find something you like, track with it. And of course, one of the benefits of using a plugin is that you can tweak afterwards. You're not actually committing to the sound that you dial in at first. You can always go back and tweak. So that's really cool. But anyway, so this is Infinity Gain, and this essentially just keeps going, and it sounds different any way you have it. You've got 3 channels. You've got clean, crunch, and lead. So clean is blue, crunch is amber, and red is lead. This is your main sort of page. You've got your EQ section here, low, mid, high. Then you've got character. Now this is a really cool feature because, like with regards to progressive metal tones, the way that it's listed here, you've got tight, which is for like, you know, really tight chugging. Then you've got saturation, which is, it's giving you that sort of sag, that power amp sag. And then purr, which is really cool because in a lot of the modern progressive metal, when they sort of half palm mute and dig in, it creates this sort of purring tone, which I'll demonstrate. Then we've got top end, you've got presence and the range, which is essentially the frequency area where that presence is, sort of where you're affecting the presence. So it's like a sweep, which is very cool. The overall channel volume, and then you've got on the right hand side harmonics and compressor. So compressor obviously brings highs and lows transients together, tightens everything up, gives you less dynamic range, but for clean tones it's really useful. And harmonics is essentially like a harmonic content exciter, so it sort of expands the sort of sweeter areas in the high end and the high end range, just to kind of give you a little bit more brightness, perceived brightness, as opposed to just like straight up like harsh brightness. So of course we'll go through all of that in detail. So this is the main amp page. One other thing that's really, really cool is along the bottom you've got all the different elements of the signal path. So if we go to the left, this is an actual digital recreation of the Horizon Devices Precision Drive that works exactly the same way as the Precision Drive. So you can add that to your tone and it gives you a tighter sort of tube screamer effect in front of an amp, which is just mega handy. And of course, you know, you can use the gate that's built in just like you can with the actual real pedal. That being said, there is a gate in the top left, which is like a universal overall gate. So that's first after your guitar, then it's the amp face, and then we go to the cabinet. So the cabinet, there is a Joey Sturgis Tones sort of matched cabinet, which works really, really well. But one thing that is awesome is you actually have the opportunity to try out different cabs. Some of these are cab impulses that of Misha's own cabs and ones that he's sort of approved. But also, very cool, you can load in your own impulse response. And if you have your own IRs that you like the sound of, you can throw them in, mix it up, and just go with something that you're more familiar with. So there's tons of options there. So next in the signal path, we've got effects. And the cool thing about the effects are they're sort of approved by Misha. He's designed all of them so that they work within the style of effects he likes to use. So what we've got on offer is we've got a delay, which is sick. And you've got mix, it can be stereo or mono, obviously feedback and the time, but then you also have like modulation, which you can see here, depth and rate, and the tone of it. But the key feature for me is that you can do it pre or post, so it can go in front or after depending on the sound that you want. So in front it repeats all the sort of high-end distortion, but in post it's as if you were putting it in the effects loop of an amplifier. So that's the delay. Then we've got a chorus, a standard sort of chorus, but you've got control over the blend, the rate, the tone and the depth. We'll go through all these. I'm just sort of breezing through. And then we've got reverb, and reverb is really, really sick because again, it can be stupidly long decay, it can be really ambient and epic, so I'm really into that. And again, straightforward, easy to use kind of delay pedal, reverb pedal even. And then this is where it gets sort of geeky, but really good for if you're a recording engineer, because we move across to a parametric EQ. It's a Joey Sturgis parametric EQ. It gives us even more control over our tone. We can add or subtract certain frequencies or EQ that we want. If we've got the sound of an amp that we like and we just want to push it into a different territory or just tighten up or add more low end or whatever, you can do that all here. And you can see you've got control over the low frequencies from 30 to 400 Hertz, and then we can go 75 to 1 kilohertz, then 800 to 12K, and then 2.5 to 20K. So it's full on frequency spectrum. You can control every area of it. So this is what selects it, and then this is how you adjust it. And then finally, the very final element of the Misha Mansoor ToneForge is a compressor. So once you've got all the elements like your delay, your reverb, and the tone of everything, the precision drive, you glue it all together using this compressor at the end of your signal chain, and of course you can really go to town and really fine tweak it. So it's just, there are so many features within one plugin. It's really, really impressive. Technology is ridiculous, basically. That being said, also there is a tuner built in as well, which is really damn handy if you don't have one that easily to get to. And yeah, basically that is the overview of the Misha Mansoor ToneForge plugin. As I said, advanced allows you to do more stuff, but the standard range you'll get everything that I've just shown you. So let's get into some tones. Cool, so now we've had a look at how you can operate the plugin. Let's get into some tones. So this is the DI again, straight in. Oh, it's not bad, but it's a DI. So anyway, let's turn on the plugin. And this is the clean. So immediately it's got more character to it. And again, we can mess around with all this stuff, scoop out a bit mids, get a bit more sparkle. You can tighten it up, add a bit of saturation. And if I mess around with the harmonics, you can hear there's just more sparkle when you add the harmonics, and of course the compressor. So that's basically what you can control on the front panel, and of course presence, if I just show you quick. So whilst we're on a clean tone, I'm just going to go ahead and show you some effects. And if you double click it, it will turn it on. So at the minute I've got reverb and delay currently. Oh, it sounds so good. Let me turn off the reverb. This is just the delay. It sounds so good. Right. So let me just show you what happens real fast if I go between, if we just add a little bit of gain, like so. And then if I go back to the delay, now this is post, so this is as if it was in an effects loop. But if I put it in front, it's going to pick up a bit more of the raspiness. That can be really useful if you're doing like fast tremolo picking with gain, and it can do that whole sort of shoegaze, epic sort of pad sound, soaring lead tone. So that's cool. Reverb real fast. This is what the reverb does. So it's mental. I mean, you can just go and go and go and really dial in epic ambient reverb and delays. So yeah, and then we'll just quickly look at chorus real fast. So this is with the chorus. It's worth saying that if you've got effects that you like, you don't have to go and individually turn them off. You just double click on the signal path and it activates it or deactivates it. So that's really cool. So also I'm currently running an impulse response that I loaded in, but let's check out some of the different cabs. So this is the JST matched cab. It's also worth saying that with some of these cab models, you have a choice of mic. So you've got condenser, 421, 57, and a Royal 121. And of course, you can just swap around what you want. So if you're double tracking, you could do a track with a Royal and then a track with a 57 and get a nice sort of full range tone. So you can go through all these different stuff. There's Misha's invective stack. So yeah, as I said, I used my own impulse responses, but what's really cool is if you've got so much choice, and also if you load in your directory where all yours are, you can literally just skim through all the different ones that you've got using this knob here, and that's how you go through them all. So that's speaker cab. Again, really extensive. The thing that keeps blowing me away is how each element of this plugin is really in depth. So it's not just here's a cab impulse, it's here's loads of cab impulses and mics to choose from to find exactly what it is you want. Hence the name ToneForge, makes perfect sense, but it's just really good. So we've looked at the amp, we've looked at the cab, we've looked at the effects. Let's just give you some more tones on the amp. So that was my clean. Let's move over to a crunch. It just sounds so good. I'm not just saying it, like, because of that infinity gain tool, you can just keep flicking until you find a gain style that really suits you, and then you're just good to go. And it's like, with all the presence, the top end, having control over the range of the presence, and then harmonics and compressor. I mean, like, this is crunch. It just sounds great. And I could double track that, a triple track, however many tracks, and it just sounds killer. And again, it's nice. Something like this, a crunch, a bit of low gain, just put a little bit of reverb and stuff back in there, and have a little mess around with maybe some leady kind of push clean leads. So that's crunch. Again, you can use that for really thick riffage, or you can just go ahead and do some pushed ambient clean stuff as well. So that's crunch. Let's move on to lead now. So this is something heavy, I'm assuming. It's a plugin. I'm just gonna reiterate that it's a plugin. You know, it's a software plugin, and I know that there are loads of great plugins out there. Of course, we know I've reviewed plenty, but what I love is how comprehensive this is. It's so full range. It's like, do you want distortion, clean, crunch? Do you want effects, cab sim? It's got everything in it, and I'm really impressed with how many features there are so far that I've discovered in here, and it just sounds sick. So this is a good opportunity to show you the purr. So this is with no purr. So it's a subtle thing, but you hear how it growls more, like it's kind of, well, exactly as it says, it's purring. It's probably a good opportunity whilst we're on this kind of tone to show you some precision drivage. So that's quite a loose sound. If I go to the precision drive, I'm just going to tune in my settings that I used. I'll probably put it about there. Okay, here we go. So this is no precision drive. The chord definition. I'm sorry, so far I've not got a bad thing to say about it, and I like to be quite subjective and critical when it comes to stuff, especially software stuff. But for a software plugin, I'm so blown away and impressed and pleased with it. The precision drive, now suddenly the chord definition. I'm enjoying myself. It's great. Right, let's show you some parametric EQ. I've already kind of messed with this one, but I'll show you how it works and how subtle or unsubtle you want it to be. So. So good. And that's how the parametric EQ works. And again, you double click it to bring it in and out. And there's plenty of different parameters in there to really sort of forge the tone. Cool, so now we're on to the last area of the plugin. This is the compressor. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a clean tone with a bit of delay and reverb. Just going to turn off the Horizon devices. And I might be happy with that sound, but I might want to pull it out a bit more. So if I turn the compressor on and then increase the threshold, so I keep saying it, but this is a plugin. I mean, it's got such a nice, this is a nice clean sound I just got. I mean, that's a clean sound from a plugin, and it's so nice to play. The response, the feel, there's no latency. I don't know. It's just a great sound. It's a great package full of features that you can just use wherever you are in the world. Like, I can take my laptop, my interface, my guitar, and I can be anywhere creating tones like this. And the fact that I wrote a tune for this video that was all done using ToneForge, hats off. Hats sincerely off. Misha, once again, done a cracking job. Joey Sturgis, once again, cracking job. Everyone at JST and Misha, like, well done, because it's really, really good, and I'm really impressed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you thought it sounded great. I'd like to know what you think. Put it in the comment section. I'll put links to this plugin and all the information about it in the description box. Both links to the standard ToneForge Misha and then the advanced version. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think. Like, subscribe and share, and I will see you all very soon.